Good day, everybody, and welcome to Dental Voice Season 2 with Zyris. My name is Rolando, and today I can't tell you how excited I am about our guest. Our guest is Dr. Paul Goodman, also known as Dr. Nacho. So when you look at the purpose of Dental Voice, the purpose of Dental Voice is to basically get perspectives, feedback, opinions, and advice from clinicians who are out there actually dealing with stuff. And today we want to spend time to talk to Dr. Goodman, Dr. Paul, about what he's doing, because he's also a practicing dentist, as well as what he's done with Dental Nachos, which is absolutely amazing. Good day, Dr. Paul. How the heck are you?
Thanks for having me, Ro. My team always says talking to you perks people up, and that's true. I feel better already. You're such a positive, awesome force in this dentisting world, and I appreciate it.
Holy cow. All right. Now you're making me blush. So I want to get right into it. First of all, when you look at dentistry today and what's happened with the crisis, what's happened with COVID, the quarantine, the lockdown, this is truly unprecedented with regard to what dentists are experiencing. What have you been doing, and what have you personally been experiencing regarding this? I'd love to understand how you're getting through that, because like you mentioned, there's an incredible energy and positive that you have around all of this. So how are you navigating through that?
What I think is first important, and I think dentists solve micro problems all day long. Take out a tooth, do a filling. We are used to solving micro problems all day long. So when we have a macro problem, a big problem in our dentisting space, we think, how can we solve it? How can we make this better? But I've said a lot throughout this since March. Something's happened to the world, in the dentisting world, that's never happened before. We've been grounded like when I was a teenager, and we couldn't do our job. So I think it's important to just be real. Just be nice, JBN, that's part of what I talk about. But just be real and understand how challenging and how this is really just something we're dealing, like you said, it isn't unprecedented. And just to sit with that and realize that we all got the same bad grade on the test. We're all in this boat together. And how can we move forward? So I've talked about, I never thought your practices could just be closed down, but they were. So for a period of time, totally closed down except for emergencies, which we mainly handled through teledentistry. And sometimes teledentistry is just using your cell phone teledentistry. So there are sometimes some unintended positive things that come out of this. One is the use of teledentistry more. Then in our state, New Jersey, I wouldn't say we were open, Ro. We became less closed. What does that mean? Open is like, the restaurant's closed, it's open. All the tables are available, all the teams there. We've been going through this transitional time where we have fewer team members, fewer dentists working, but we're now able to be less closed, open seeing patients. We've been doing that since the end of May, and we're just trying to find our way back to a world that makes sense to us. And I was just in my office Monday and Tuesday, and it's weird. I've been doing this for 18 years, and I'm going to tell everyone, it's weird to be in your dental office, and that's a challenging thing to deal with.
See, when you look, there's so much uncertainty. There's so many things that are being thrown out. And the feedback we've been receiving from people is that, well, I don't know what to do. There isn't guidance, all that. How do you, especially with Dental Nachos, which is huge, and the community and the way you all interact, what advice do you give people to overcome the not knowing?
Well, I would like to give you some advice from someone who's really important in my life. So at 6:30 in the morning, I get up with my 2-year-old, and we have a daily showing of this movie. It's called Frozen 2. So I don't know if you've heard of Anna and Elsa. They're fairly popular characters. So when I was teaching residents, I said, when you get into private practice, it's going to be nacho nuts. You're going to have things happen that didn't happen before. And how are you going to make decisions when things go sideways? Nothing goes wrong in my office, Ro. I don't know if something goes wrong in your life. Nothing goes wrong in my life. It does go off script, though. So words are important. It doesn't go wrong. It goes off script. Crown doesn't fit. Didn't come back from the lab. You're about to start your day and your assistant's child is sick. So I always tell them, just stop for a minute and make the best decision in the moment and do the next right thing. So in the movie Frozen 2, maybe some people know it, there's a popular song, Do the Next Right Thing by Anna, and it's a great song because she's dealing with a big challenge, and her advice she gets is do the next right thing. So with us, what I do in the face of uncertainty is try to do the next right thing. And what has that looked like so far? One was trying to get the correct PPE to wear in our offices. That was very challenging, whether you need to use N95s, KN95s. The rules were changing. I mean, when we were kids, we used to play this game. And actually, I think John Mulaney, a great comedian, he has a show on this now called The Floor is Hot Lava. Because when you were a game, and my daughter does this, I'm on the couch and I'm safe. And then she knows, no, the couch is now hot lava. I said, but it was just safe a minute ago. That's what it was like to be a dentist. We had to use different PPE, different rules. Were we going to need suction devices? I mean, Zyris and the Isolate is one of my favorite products. Well before I was Dr. Nacho, from the beginning of my career, when I was a baby age dentist or toddler age dentist, I love it. I think it's the gateway to good decisions. You guys have been a kind key resource and sponsor, but you guys deal with suction, right? So now we're talking, do we need to bring in suction devices? So what I did was I tried to make decisions that made sense in the moment. We did not implement any giant air filtration or any extra oral suction. No discouragement if people did, but we tried to get our offices operational and functional again from a PPE perspective. And to me, that was the hurdle we were all facing and still facing.
So prior to this, nobody knew. Then everybody seemed to know, and it was virtually impossible to determine what's real and what's speculation. Now that we're back open and you, the Nachos, the entire organization, all the practices are coming back, what are you finding is real? And then what are you finding is just mayhem or craziness that people were reacting to? What would you say are things that you've discovered are, things you really need to care about, and things that, quite frankly, were just hyper things?
And it's an excellent question. I'll share that. I also want to share first that I love running Dental Nachos. We have 26,000 members on our Facebook group. We have other people who follow us. I love being that person. But so far to date, not one governor has called me for any advice. They never said, you know what, we're going to text Paul Goodman and see what he thinks about dentistry. So what I've been doing is responding to what's coming down from leadership, CDC, OSHA, ADA. And this has highlighted inside dentistry and outside dentistry, and in a JBR way, just be real, how ineffective or lacking some of our leadership systems have been in dentistry, right? Because in the beginning, people were telling me, I got more information from going on your Dental Nachos Facebook group than I did from other sources. I said, well, that's not the way it's supposed to be. I mean, we should be able to get this, but how do you get information to that? So at this point, what's real? So what's real is a heightened awareness about social distancing in your office, not having waiting rooms like before. It feels weird, but now it's becoming more normal. You're kind of not close to your team members that much. You're wearing masks even when you don't need to be in the operatory. This stuff to me is real and seems to make sense, right? Protecting ourselves and our team. What might be hopefully determined as not real at this time, someone will be watching this a month from now. This is what I want to say. I'm in Philadelphia, Ro. Have you ever seen the movie The Sixth Sense by M. Night Shyamalan? Yeah, so M. Night Shyamalan, he's from Philadelphia. We're living inside the movie. So what we love in a movie, Ro, we love turning on a movie and watching the drama because it's not happening to us. But we don't like being in the movie, and we're in this movie. We don't really know what's going to happen. It could be the middle. It could be the end. But right now, Ro, some of the things that I have been happy to not have to do is, put in, negative pressure rooms. That was a thing in Philadelphia. You're going to have to put in negative pressure rooms because of the coronavirus. Luckily, that became something that we've discarded. These high-level suctions that are extraoral or giant air filtration units. So those are things that I found, not necessary to move forward at this time. What's real is heightened awareness on social distancing, appropriate PPE, listening to the OSHA and the CDC, which can conflict, and using N95 masks for your employees. I'm a big OSHA fan is a little dramatic. I don't know if they're a fan like the Philadelphia Eagles, but I've always been into infection control. We've always had awesome OSHA trainers. I have them as sponsors of the group, and I rely on them. I rely on coaches and trainers to say, hey, this is what we found out, because they're doing this all the time with PPE.
Have you, from what you've experienced, what the Dental Nachos have shared with you, have you run into the fear that team members are having
Oh,
about coming back? I mean, how are you navigating through that? Because that seems to be one of the biggest topics, and people are losing excellent long-term teammates because of that.
yep. It's such a great point and a challenging point. And I read something that the military uses this phrase called embrace the suck. When things aren't going well, you just have to embrace the suck and get through it. And a lot of us with team members, we got to embrace this sucky part and deal with each person individually and see what makes sense to them. For example,
Paul? Oh no, something has just happened. So you're talking about Frozen, and now you're frozen. So I wonder what just happened. Oh no. All right, we're gonna take a minute. Everyone, let's see if we lost our connection. Oh, so you gotta love live sessions, because internet, as everybody knows, works fantastically all the time. So we're gonna see if we can get Dr. Paul back here, and until then, you're gonna have to listen to me. So it's pretty cool. The Dental Nachos organization has one of the most open environments, and in looking at what they've been sharing with each other, it's mind-boggling how open and how much Dr. Paul and team encourage people to share issues that they're facing. So if you all haven't had a chance to look at that, it's pretty cool to listen to and just kind of lurk. So you don't have to necessarily be part of that, but you can also hear a lot of stuff. Let's see if Dr. Paul is coming back. Now, it's interesting that he shared with us this whole context, embrace the suck. It resonates really well, because it's interesting to see that when, there's consistency in what we're hearing from our different clinicians. Oh, check it out.
sorry about. You guys see me?
There you go.
Good. Sorry, Zyris crew. The internet was not my friend, so we should be good now.
So wait a minute. You were talking all about Frozen, and then you went.
Yes, I know. I'm just gonna start talking about nachos, and then nachos will appear like this. So, awesome.
So hey, those of you who are watching, ignore everything. I heard all sorts of good stuff about you, but I didn't want to say anything. So anyway.
Oh, thanks, Ralph. I'll have to look for it.
You were talking about this issue of teams embracing the and the just navigating through that. So,
well, what I would like to share with that point is we just need to, with our team members, try to have grace and deal with them individually with their issues, whether they have older parents at home, whether they have challenging things with childcare. But it's not easy right now. We have a lot of our team members who have to be home with their children and at work. We're trying to manage that. There's no easy solution, a true dilemma, but we're working through it as a team and trying to figure out how we can get ourselves functional. Because we also, what's interesting is nothing happened to teeth. Probably people hurt their teeth more home eating all these snacks like I did. So we have all these patients who need dental care, right? Need dental care, and how can we deliver to them in a way that's safe, effective, responsible, and doesn't tire us out too much? Because we have to worry about burnout for ourselves. We went from not working. Now, if we overwork ourselves, I think of life as a marathon, not a sprint. So it's a challenging time to do that.
Thank you for that, and I appreciate the context. I appreciate the sentiment around you have to work. When you look at what we do, or if you look at dentistry, and if you look at the profession of dentistry, what does everybody do every day? Solve problems, right?
Right.
And if you look, this is just a big problem to solve, and if you speculate, it doesn't work. And I mentioned this when you kind of dropped off a little bit, with the Dental Nachos organization and the connection there, you all talk about I mean, no holds barred. No, I
Yeah.
mean, you talk hardcore about things that are difficult and all that. How did you create that kind of environment so that people were comfortable, or let me say, had enough trust to air, hey, I'm struggling with this. Has anybody helped? I mean,
I
that's
appreciate
pretty
that.
cool when you look at the
To me,
how
I
did
think
you
that
do that?
to me, I think that's going to be our most important legacy as a group, talking about the real stuff that affects us stress-wise. We've sadly had dentists die by suicide over this time. We've had frank
Yeah.
discussions on that. Just the everyday burnout. I don't think anyone truly understands the intensity and stress it is to be a dentist doing full contact arts and crafts on people who don't want to be there each day and having to also run the business. I have this book around me all the time, Ro, the E-Myth Revisited, and that is something that guides me in trying to be an entrepreneur, manager, and technician at the same time. Not an easy task.
So, you know, in order for such a large community to be able to do that, you have to kind of, what is how do people, or let me put it this way, in times of stress, people become emotional. When people
Right.
become emotional, they, become irrational because you're kind of freaked out. What's the advice that you give people to say, hey, time out, guys, relax? How do you get
Yeah.
people there so people can think clearly and then navigate? To your point, practices have closed. People are losing. Patients are going elsewhere because they're not hearing from their clinicians because the clinicians are dealing with it. You mentioned stress. What is the advice that you give from a personal and also from a group perspective to people dealing with that right now?
Really critical because it can be emotional. First of all, has anyone been on a family vacation? I have. And sometimes you fight with your family. Doesn't mean you don't love your family. So I always say, break down the argument, not the person. Break down the argument, not the person. So if we're going to have a conversation about schools reopening or not reopening, using rubber dam versus the isolite, talking about PPO versus fee for service, here's what people could say. Dental brokers are shady individuals that have tried to take advantage of me. I don't take offense to that as a broker. I will take offense. Paul, you are a shady individual try to take advantage of people. So we have to talk about the spicy topics in a way where we can disagree without being disagreeable. It's a hard line to walk, but a necessary one. Sometimes I feel like a hybrid of Mr. Rogers and a kindergarten teacher. But it works when people get it. It works because then they feel they can go into this space like a safe space and share authentically. I'm a huge Gary Vee fan, and thanks to you guys, I was able to be on his show. Be authentic, be genuine, and talk about the messy stuff. I mean, nachos, they're great to share. They're also messy. That's the group.
Yeah, but you get to lick them off with your hands and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, that's here. Someone made me this sign from Dental Nachos, Ro. It's our whole motto. Just be nice and eat nachos. So, if life could be as simple as that.
So, when you look at and when you consider the fact that from this point forward, nothing is going to be the same.
Right.
I mean, COVID is not going to go anywhere. COVID is here. And even if we are able to kind of overcome it, it's still going to be. Plus, there are going to be, quote unquote, other things. How do you, what's kind of your thoughts around how to not just deal with what's happening now, but also plan for, nobody knows what's going to be coming down the road. So how do you prepare yourself for that? What are your thoughts on that for clinicians, dentists, dental assistants, hygienists, for patients?
Yep. I mean, your world can be shaken for a lot of reasons. And what I fall back on is everything that matters needs a system, and everything matters. Create systems in your practice in times of good times in your practices, challenges, unexpected drop nachos. And what I try to share with my team is we're trying to be a little bit better each day makes a lot better dentisting life. Getting patients in, getting them comfortable. One of my great friends, collaborators, Dr. Mark Costas, I interviewed him in the beginning. We're going to have patients that are too afraid to come back. We're going to have patients that want to come back and people in the middle. Just focus on the want to come back people in the middle. If people are worried right now, if they don't have a major dental problem, don't worry about it. They'll start to come back. This is going to happen, Ro, with restaurants. It's going to happen with gyms. It's going to happen with movies where it happens with that. And we're figuring this out together, not just as a dentisting world, but as the actual world. And as a leader in your practice, I just believe you have to be. Being a leader doesn't mean pretending that everything's okay. Being a leader doesn't mean saying you don't know the next part exactly. Being a leader is saying we're going to be there for each other no matter what. We're going to figure this out together. We're going to make tough decisions. And another big thing I love about Gary Vee is, you can test something, and if it doesn't work, test something different, right? Maybe you change your hours 8 to 2 and say we're going to do 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And maybe that doesn't work in September. Change it. ABC, always be changing, always be connecting, always be creative are 3 of the things I think about each day when I get up.
Thank you for that. And I appreciate that. And the sentiment is really cool. Can you see me still?
Yeah. Can you
good.
not see me?
Yeah, I can.
Because I could quickly move to another router if you want. This one's usually good, but I can see you fine.
No.
Am I causing the problem? If I'm causing the problem.
No. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
The sentiment around, if you decide, don't wait, because you wait, nothing happens. Right. And the message you're sending is you need to execute. You need to act on what you know. And then if it's not right, change it.
For sure.
But don't do nothing, or don't not do nothing. Don't not do nothing.
It's commonly referred to with dentists is they get a lot of analysis paralysis, getting stuck. Right. And, we're here. I always tell people, this is one of my factors. Is it unsafe, immoral, or illegal? No, not unsafe. No, not immoral. No, not illegal. Try it. See how it goes.
And if not, change.
Yeah. So
that is so cool.
Yeah. So if I say, when you're a leader in a dental office, you're a leader in your family, you have to make decisions. I played a lot of sports. You're the coach, whatever. So I one time said, we're going to move our lunch hour from 12 to 1. One of my team members started crying, say they can't wait that long to eat. Another person say, you're taking away our lunch. And I say, let's try it for 30 days. Come back to me 30 days from now. Let me know. First of all, Ro, the person who was crying said, oh man, this is great. The restaurants aren't as crowded because we go later. So it actually turned to a good thing. Another person said, now our afternoon's shorter. So always be testing, always be creative. And as your leader, don't pretend every system's going to go well. Just be willing to authentically and genuinely try it and share that with your team.
That is so cool. And that's cool. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit. And
sure.
if I may ask permission to ask you something a little personal, may I do that?
Sure. Go ahead.
So everything I've seen from you with Dental Nachos, all of the feedback, there's such an incredible positiveness. There's energy. Are you always like this? What bums you out? What do you get bummed out?
It's an excellent question. Yes, I do. Disney has a good book called The Disney Way, talks about on stage and off stage. I talk about this with my team, right? When we're seeing patients, we're on stage. It's got to be right. We have to be happy. Then if we're upstairs, we can be JBR, just be real, off stage. To me, I don't really get too high or too low. With that row, if you go to the Magic Kingdom in Disney World, you'll see the characters, and then you can go behind the scenes and you see how they run it. So on stage and off stage. So there is an off stage Paul, and I can be intense and I can become overly enthusiastic with my team and family and get stressed myself because I'm a person too. But I try to remember that, I feel a lot of gratitude, even though a lot of great things and a lot of not so great things have happened in my life. I feel a lot of gratitude for the opportunities that I have. I try to get people to look on the more positive side of life because one of my top signs here, Ro, I'm trying to fight, right? It's like a disease, TSD, That's So Dentist. You know what That's So Dentist is? Hey, dentist, implants work out really great. He goes, yeah, but I saw one fail once. I'm like, how many? 1 out of 100? I go, that's dentist. If you could go to a park with your child talking to a dentist, I'm going to a park with my 6-year-old. I'm going to have a good time. It could rain. It could lightning. Well, now I don't want to go. So I try to not overvalue this or put too much attention on what could go wrong. It doesn't mean I'm irresponsible, and it might be a Tony Robbins quote or something, but I just try to focus on what could go right. And I think my team members and family and people like that, I think, they kind of call me the friendly nacho tornado. So that's kind of being around me is like being around a friendly nacho tornado. But I really mean well, and I want the best for people, and I want life to be a little more fun. I've had a lot of not so fun things happen in my life. So, and you know, I dealt with, you know, all this doubt and uncertainty and concern when our offices were shut down too. I mean, you know, your whole livelihood is working towards this thing and it just gets shut down. It's like a torn ACL if you're an athlete, and, you know, you have to reset and rehabilitate. That's the word, Ro, is that, dentists, give yourself the space and the kindness to yourself to rehabilitate. If an athlete tears their ACL, they don't expect them to go back on the field or on the court and score 25 points. All of us need to rehabilitate and just celebrate little positive steps.
Wow. Wow. It's so refreshing because, you know, when a lot of things go wrong, a lot of things go right, but people tend to focus into kind of that's so dentist, the context around that. When you mentioned that, you know, well, I noticed that, you know, that didn't work on that patient. How many treated? 42,000, and it failed once. Yeah. I mean, but I want it to be perfect. And I think, what is it? Perfection is the enemy of progress. Strive for that, and the message you're sending is, you know what, it's okay, do that. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
I appreciate it. I want to share a quick story, Rowan, and this is one that well before I knew anyone at Zyris or what's called the Isolite, I would give an implant course to 12 people, and I would tell them that you got to use the Isolite, right? You guys weren't sponsors. I said, this thing is so great, and one goes, isn't it $2 a mouth prop, or isn't it expensive? I said, I want you to get up in the morning, look in the mirror and say, I am worth the Isolite, because it decreases your stress. I go, imagine if there was a thing where people didn't swallow little pieces, the patient stopped talking, and my own wife, when we were dating, I had to do 2 fillings on her, and she's a teacher. So whenever teachers come in, that 1 week of the year, the only year they're available, teachers, between Christmas and New Year's. So I had to rush and do these fillings. So I pop in the Isolite, do these 2 fillings, take it out. And she said to me, totally authentic, she goes, I really like that thing. Every time I went to the dentist, I was worried they were going to cut my tongue. So I say to dentists, you're worth making your life better. And, you know, you're worth decreasing stress. And that's the TSD I'm fighting. And I'm hopefully making it better for dentists because I want them to genuinely be happier people.
First of all, thank you for that. Really appreciate it. And here's the only part I took out of that. Because of Isolite, you met your wife and she married you?
No, she met me. That was good. maybe you know what? Maybe if the fillings didn't go well, she wouldn't have wanted to. So I'll chalk it up. The Isolite helped.
Wait, you treated your wife and she still married you? Okay, you must have magic hands or something. I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah. You just have to. They're teachers. They get like 1 week off a year. You got to do all their dental work between Christmas and New Year's. So I want dentists to say to themselves, I'm worth being happy. And happy's not about money. I'm worth being happy. I'm worth creating a life that I want to create. Maybe I want to work 3 days a week. Maybe I want to work 5 days a week. Maybe I want a fee-for-service practice, but I want to constantly strive. I like to say strive instead of try, because people say, oh, I'll try that. I always, you know, I'll try not to eat ice cream at 11 p.m. I say it to myself, Ro. I don't succeed very often. So I'm going to strive to do better instead of try to do better.
Yeah, that's awesome. And thank you for that. And it is a sentiment. It's a mess that we all need to kind of really take the heart and just say, yeah. I mean, that's it. I love that. That's great. So first of all, the Dental Nachos organization is phenomenal. And I think, you know, I'm sure there are a lot of people. What message, not just to the Dental Nachos, but any of the clinicians, other dentists who join us on these live streams and listen to us, what message do you want to kind of give them, even patients who are listening to this, regarding dentistry, regarding what we're doing here, and then kind of the prospects of going forward? How would you like to kind of put this together and kind of wrap this up as a statement?
I like, you know, I like catchphrases. The morale of dentists matter to everyone. The morale of dentists matter to everyone. We're working by ourselves often in these caves. So what can we do to make ourselves happier, less stressed, make our teams happier, be easier people to be around? Because sometimes you come home from a day of dentisting where you see 42 people. I mean, if we can be JBR for a second, people say to me, Ro, on an opener, right? Kindness is a big thing. Be kind to everybody. What about the dentist? I go into an operatory, someone says, just want to let you know, I don't hate you, but I hate the dentist. And I say, we don't hang out. at night. So it feels like you hate me, or they'll say, you're the last person I want to see today. So what I want to build is a way for dentists to improve their clinical skills, their patient communication skills, and their decision-making skills. And most of all, ABC, always be connecting with each other. That could be the dentist down the street, ask him or her to lunch. It could be for jobs across this whole earth, really. We're having a job fair, a virtual job fair on Sunday, where I'm trying to connect people looking for, can dental nachos save the economy? Probably not, but we can at least get some dentists some jobs. You know, you can't pay off $500,000 in debt if you don't have a job. And then when you're older, I mean, here, Ro, I'll give this example. It's such a good example. Saying that you'd pay $20 an hour for a babysitter for 5 hours, pay $100 to go out to dinner. When you're a young single person, that sounds crazy, right? When you're married, you'd say, sure, here's the $100. I need time away. So the older practice owner who might not have financial struggles has energy struggles, I have too much work struggles. So if we can bond dentists together, to use a dental term, that's what I'm trying to do. Increase happiness, decrease stress, decrease the number of times you want to cry inside a day, have more fun, and make some friends along the way.
Thank you. I love that. What message do you want to send to your patients? What message do you want to send to the person who is not in this profession, watching this and going, oh, this is kind of interesting? What message would you like to give them?
I would say that if you're a patient, try to have more patience with your dentist. Right? If you're a patient, try to have more patience. You know, I understand it. My brother did some fillings on me. It's not fun to get full contact arts and crafts. But dentists work, you know, when patients are acting a little bit out of line, I say this joke. Anyone can use it. You know, if you could drop your mouth off like your car, it would be easier for both of us. And I don't say anything, because then they basically say, you know, no one goes to a haircut and thrashes around. But I understand that being a patient's not easy. This isn't fun stuff to do. But my message to patients is, we are trying to help you do Earth's most favorite activity, eat food. And we're trying to help you eat. So hopefully we can like our dentist more. We're just trying to help you do the things you enjoy.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And thank you. For people who want to learn more about, check this out. I'm going to put this. Can you all see this here?
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I can see it.
Ariel. So for people who want to reach out to you or learn more.
Yeah, well, we can 2 ways, dentalnachos.com. But I know my dentist people, Ro, you know them, you work them. They love a deal. They love a prize. They love a discount. It's literally one of their favorite things. So if they text nachos to 215-543-6454, they will be invited into the community and given a free CE gift card to buy any of our on-demand courses, $143. If you know the number 143 and you're a fan of this guy like me, Mr. Rogers, that was his favorite number, 143, stood for love and kindness. So we have a $143 gift card for anyone who text in for that.
Cool. And then if people want to get to you directly?
Sure, they can just reach out to me at paul@dentalnachos.com is my best email. And they can also just reach me through the website, dentalnachos.com. Our team's always answering that throughout the day.
Awesome. Well, first of all, I would love to just spend time, and there are so many other things that we could talk about. There are so many other things that we could do with regard to navigating through dentistry, opening and closing office, all that. At some point here, we'd be open to joining us back on Dental Voice, and we could talk a little bit about maybe a little longer when things have kind of gone through and we can figure out what's going on. Is that
I'm in
something you'd be up for?
It's one of my favorite movies, Rocky. They had like 6 of them, so we can do Nacho Rocky. We'll do the sequel.
I love it. That's it. This is it. Version 7.
Yeah. Awesome. We'll keep going.
Thank you for taking the time to spend here. Those of you who are watching here, thank you for joining us. Dr. Paul Goodman has some incredible insights. For me personally, one of the things that I find is, you know, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And at first I was taken aback. I'm like, wait a minute, this guy's too positive. Wait a minute, this guy's saying too much good stuff. He actually means it. And when you look at it, there's a genuineness to it that you can't fake. You know, you can't fake real. And for me, that's something that you'll see. And when you look at the dental community, and you look at the kind of information, it's cool. I plug them. It's just, hey, if they sucked, I'd say, dudes, they suck, but they don't. So anyway, I'm going to do that. So those of you watching, thank you. Thank you for joining us. If you like the content of this, please share it. If you have questions for us, send them to us. If you want to contact Dr. Paul and the Dental Nachos organization, please go ahead and do that. Regardless, we're going to see you again. Thank you for joining us. And everyone, please be safe and have a fantastic lower stress rest of your week and awesome weekend.
Love that. Thanks, Ro.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We'll see you soon.